I hope you enjoyed the forehand. You'll find that the backhand is really similar.
We like to use the stroke developer because it gives us a beep when you're doing it right and gives us no beep when you're swinging incorrectly.
All you have to do is take your racket back, bend your knees, step out, and lift.
Wow, Coach Miguel makes it sound so easy. So let's take a little deeper look at why people have great difficulty hitting backhands.
The backhand grip is on side number 1 for both right and left-handers. The key is to use your knuckles pointed towards the target as long as possible while your racket and body are lifting at the same angle.
I think it's important to take a close look at the grip because the grip starts off everything in the right direction. The wrong grip, normally the wrong stroke. Let's take a quick look at the two-handed backhand grip.
The top-handed palm should be here, which is number 3. And the bottom hand palm should be here or here, which is 1 or 2.
Why should the bottom hand be on 1 or 2?
The bottom hand palm should be on 1 or 2 because if it's on 3, it pushes the wrist out, which causes injuries.
Watch Rafael Nadal go from low to high with his racket. Also note that his center of gravity rises with the shot.
You know, for years, people only hit a one-handed backhand. There are only very few players who hit with two hands. And then all of a sudden in the 70s and 80s, the two-handed backhand became very popular. Why?
The two-handed backhand became famous when Chris Everett and Bjorn Borg began to dominate professional tennis.
So let's get down to some more details. Coach Adrian will talk about preparation, early preparation. Why is it so important?
When you see it's a backhand, get your racket back quickly because research shows that if you get your racket back sooner than a quarter of a second, it gives your brain more time to figure out details.
Coach Will seems to agree with Coach Miguel.
A secret to hitting a good backhand is when you turn and push the racket down low, and now you're ready to come forward and up.
A large error in the game of tennis is that most players don't drop their racket head low enough so that they don't reach their knees. However, as shown by the one-handed backhand, a player should drop their racket head to their knee and follow the ball as long as possible after they hit it. As Roger Federer, he will drop his racket head down to his knees, and as he follows the ball, he actually goes 5 feet and 1 inch with the ball, and that is why his one-handed backhand is so deadly.
Let's say hello to my partner and researcher, Andy Fitzel, as he pays tribute to the great biomechanist, Gideon Ariel.
You know, it's really nice to be involved with mentors like Dr. Gideon Ariel with his APAS system because it allows us to quantify movement with the top players. And we've nearly done every top professional player. And we're able to share that information with our junior ambassadors. For instance, Roger Federer, it was a bit of a surprise for us that he goes 5 feet 1 inch towards the target on his backhand. Some other players we have, Kim Kleisters, don't go quite as far on the two-handed backhand. Also an important note, with Federer on his backhand going so far out towards the target, he really gets his center of gravity out in front, which allows him to get to the net faster and be in better position. Whereas the players that tend to pull off early don't get their center of gravity forward and have a little bit more of a difficult time getting to the net.
Dr. Ariel and I opened the Coda Research Center way back in 1980, and his great 3D analysis system was way ahead of most researchers. I really take my hat off to Dr. Gideon Ariel, who was head of biomechanics for the U.S. Olympic team, by the way back. A lot of fun. Next, it's Coach Emma showing you how to stay on target.
Make an archway that you could walk under when you finish on the one-handed backhand. like this.
You know, it sounds crazy when you hear Emma say it, but she's right on target. Not only does Federer do it, but the great Pete Sampras did it. Watch. You know, if you forget how to work a proper follow-through, listen to what Coach Gage says. There are 3 initials that could become pretty important to you. At least my former students liked it.
Remember the letters ATA, which stand for air the armpit, like this.
You know, on TV all the time you hear about hitting inside out, how critical it is. And now Coach Ryan will demonstrate what the inside out swing really is.
You want to hit an inside-out backhand, meaning that you keep the racket face vertical and pointing towards your target for as long as possible. Now you do this because it increases your safety zone. There's less flaws. You pretty much do this, and as you can see, I keep it facing the target for about 3 different steps. You got here, here, and then you can come up if you want.
You know, Coach Christian will now explain why the non-hitting hand is so important and how it's related to the brain.
The right hemisphere of your brain controls your left arm. The secret is to push the racket down with your left arm. Then just lift the arm up.
And if you're ever going to go to the net, Coach Spencer tells you why it's so important to be leaning forward, to have your center of gravity ahead. People who are hitting open stance are not going to the net very often these days, so that becomes a baseline game for them, but not for the players who get out in front with that front foot and the center of gravity ahead.
When hitting a backhand, you should hit with your center of gravity in front of you. By doing so, you get 9 feet further in towards the net.
Two-handed backhand hitters normally have to set their body and hit the shot.
You know your head weighs more inch for inch than any other part of your body, and so when you turn your head early, you can actually destroy your swing. So you want to keep your head very still, which Coach Katiana talks about.
Whether you hit a one-hand or two-handed backhand, make sure that you always keep your head down throughout your whole shot until you finish your follow-through.
So where should you contact the ball in relation to your body, for a one-hander and a two-hander? Well, listen to what Coach Dakota has to say.
On a two-handed backhand, you'll hit even with your front foot, but on a one-handed backhand, you'll hit further in front.